And that's the key, is putting yourself in the best position to get funding, because you can do all the things and talk to the wrong investor and you be like, man, I did all these things and they told me no. Well, is it the investor that you talked to, or was it the things?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dads on Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ashford, man, and as always, I got the big homie KB, Mr. Kevin Brigance. Why they laughing? KB, what's good, man?
What up? What up? What up? It is always good to be here, bro. Look, I'm laughing so hard, man. Y'all got me. Man, we did a whole podcast before the podcast, y'all.
Bro, we've been recording for 30 minutes, and these jokers just keep talking.
I want to be cool like y'all and have a mic. So. I said, I just want to be cool like y'all and have a mic. So
is your mic even connected?
It ain't plugged in, but I just be cool.
Hold on. Well, so low key, when I was in ninth grade, you know what I'm saying, everybody had pagers. You know what I'm saying? So the kid had a green translucent boy. I wore it everywhere.
Bro, I still got mine.
It didn't work. It didn't work. It wasn't on. It wasn't on.
You just looked at it from time to time just to check it.
I promise you. And somebody paging me again? 69. Bro, I never had the hose. I never did. I don't know if that's okay to call him that because I'm a dad. But you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I never had the females. That wasn't me. That wasn't
you. You was a late bloomer. It's all right, man. It's all right.
Bro, I don't even know if I was a late bloomer. Like I got married.
The first female gender that I met, I proposed. So,
bro, listen. So, bro, Ben, you don't know the whole story. So, like, my wife, we met in college, and we were like super dope, super close friends, like the whole time, and everybody knew we liked each other. Like, everybody. We just never dated, and college happened. After college happened, I got engaged to somebody else, got unengaged. And then we were at a going away party for one of her friends, and her sister came up to me. You know what I'm saying? It was late into the party. We had a couple drinks. Her friend was just like, her sister was like, why don't you just ask her out? And I was like, well, I'm not doing nothing else. I was like, hey, you want to go to dinner? we get to dinner, and I'm like, is this a date? And she was like, I mean, if you want it to be a date, I was like, yeah, we'll call it a date. $100 later, it was a date. So, but that took me 12 years, bro. That was 12 years after I met her. So I never had the females. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyways, bro, I didn't introduce our guest. I apologize. My bad. Yo, we got Mr. Benjamin J Vann, straight out of Kansas, now in Dallas. Entrepreneur extraordinaire. What's good, bro?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here. Yo, part 2 of the podcast.
Right? I like want to just pick up, but like nobody knows where we're at. So they're gonna be like, what are they talking about?
Right.
But what we were talking about, can we talk about that? Like with the massage? Like, can we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking to Ben. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's Ben. That's on you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So real quick, set the scenario. Ben just got back from Jamaica with his lady and his kid. It's been a week?
Yeah, almost now.
Yeah, it's almost been a week. Long story short, his wife is stressing him out, or his fiance is stressing him out. He booked her a massage, and he was like, yo, I got to cancel it. And he was about to tell us the reason why. Go.
Oh, so I had to reschedule, not cancel, because she has a hair appointment. I told her, I said, look, don't do nothing Friday at 3:00. And she said, well, I have a hair appointment. I said, that means I'm trying to be spontaneous, brother, and you messing up the flow, you know?
Does she have it on her calendar? Do y'all have a shared calendar? First thing.
We have a shared calendar, but
is her hair appointment on her shared calendar?
She has yet to use it.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. We have one.
So what you do is you say, you know what? See, at 3:00, I had something for you, but you didn't put it on the calendar, so you'll never know what it was.
Right. No, she knows, so we're gonna reschedule. But the moral of the story is that in a relationship, in a couple, in a relationship, sometimes you have to help people help you. And I think that was the biggest lesson that we all were discussing before we officially got on the podcast, was that there are multiple ways to handle stress in relationships. And it's almost like game theory sometimes. Like you have to think about, if I do this action, what are the possible reactions that I'm going to get? And sometimes men, we don't think through all the alternative reactions that we're going to get. We just go with the easiest one sometimes. And the easiest one actually doesn't accomplish the goal. And so I always have this saying, like, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? Right. And so
I can't
in
wait
this
till
scenario,
you get married.
I felt like I was effective. Like the right thing would be like, look, you stressing me out. Like, let's argue, blah, blah, blah. But I say,
I can't wait until you get married.
How can I be effective? And so I said, let me go ahead and just book this massage for you so you can help yourself help me in return.
So did you
strategic?
Did you tell her? So you didn't tell her before you booked it?
No, I didn't. I booked
First
it.
Mistake.
Yeah, I booked it, and then I said, "Hey, are you available?" And then she was like, "Well, I got a hair appointment, so we'll make it. We'll make it work."
No. If you agree as a family to use the calendar, you got to get it on the calendar. Listen,
if that was on there, I would have known.
You're right. Seriously, you're right. We fought for about a month about the calendar, and we went back and forth about. But guess what? We finally got it, and like literally, like it has saved our whole. Because it's funny, like we were like the PV Gremlin game at the fair. You know, she was like, "Yeah, the fair is this weekend." I'm like, "Is it this weekend?" She's like, "Fool, you put it on the calendar." So now I can't be mad. I did put it on the calendar. I knew. So, but I think that's important. I think that's important for every family, especially for busy families. Like, man, you want to avoid arguments. You want to avoid any, conflict. Use the freaking calendar. And
but here's the other side of that. When you use it, and both of y'all use it, but somebody doesn't check it, i.e., my wife. She'll be like, "Oh, what you doing today? Did you look at the calendar?" No. Maybe you should. I got all my appointments on there. No. but that's also, bro.
Is that effective?
There you go.
So Ben, here's the thing. First things first. I'm petty, and I know that. Let's just get that out the way. I know. Where's my wife? Can she hear me? No, let me make sure. I think she's washing bottles. I think I hear it. But anyways,
we want you to have a nice rest tonight. We don't want you sleeping.
Yeah, right.
Your back hurting. So
joke's on you. I like sleeping on the couch.
I refuse.
Really? Bruh, I get in trouble because I sleep on the couch by choice. She's like, well, I don't sleep well when you're not in the bed with me. Why don't you come to bed? I was watching football. I fell asleep. Next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nah, man. You guys y'all joined at the hip.
I didn't know I was falling asleep until I was asleep.
Bedtime for her is bedtime for you. And everybody.
No, that's not true because she goes to bed at like 8:30 and like I'll be don't get me wrong, bro. I will go to sleep at 8:30, but my problem is I wake up at 1 o'clock and I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
So I like stretch it out to like 10:30, and then I'm still up at 2 o'clock, but still.
I know our viewers are probably wondering, what are we talking about? what is on?
Bro, so here's the thing. Like last week, we had the homie DJ on, and it's so funny because like I never got to a prompt. We did the whole, but it was dope content, and so here's exactly why I don't have, or we don't have a format, is because these conversations start to flow, and it's just like, like what's really on our heart? Like, what are we really trying to talk about? I can go into what we want to talk about, which is like Ben is a beast at like raising capital for businesses, especially what's the word? Underrepresented categories. So underestimated. So a lot of your African American cultures, your Latinx cultures, your LGBTQ plus. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't know all the deals.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So all you know what I'm saying? So like you're a beast at you know what I'm saying, like raising capital, helping them raise capital. And that's really what I want to talk about. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't really get to segue into there, but I guess this is a segue.
You know what?
Way, man.
You know what? We're gonna have to stop inviting these guests who wanna be hosts. They all want to host the show. They don't want to come in and be a guest. They just want to come in and host the show. They like, hey,
can we talk about what you asked me to talk about? No. I want to talk about Fruit Loop. I don't know.
Notes, man. No, I'm kidding.
No. Real talk. Because we do have a lot of entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying, dads that are out there. Bro, and the hardest part of starting a business is capital. And so we always like, we do the bootstrapping. And so we take money from our primary income, put it into the business. And I mean, but I guess the biggest hurdle is that those that are underrepresented, underestimated generally aren't making the money to bootstrap to the level that they should be. So they got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And so us as a people, when I say us, I mean Black people, we have always been fans of ingenuity. I can't. We nigga rig stuff. That's what we do. That's what I was trying to say in a political correct stuff.
But I think that gives us a lot of credit. I think we have the innovation. We just don't have the funding to keep it going.
That's what I was trying to say. Innovative funding. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say nigga rigging, whatever. So now I got to put it on YouTube and Spotify that this is has explicit content. Anyways, no. So, but what I would do, I want to help some people out, man. That's what. And I don't know if it's 1, 2, 5 steps, 10 steps. I don't know how many steps it is, but first of all, what are the numbers look like for those that are underrepresented and those that are well funded in the success rate of their company, if you have that?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, on one hand, right. On one hand, if you look at the industry as a whole, in terms of just businesses in general that fail, right? Like only 1% of businesses actually succeed. Yeah. Right.
Like all businesses or just like restaurants?
All businesses. Like 99% of businesses fail, right? And they're typically because of two reasons. Either they fail to identify a market or a customer that's willing to pay for their services, or they run out of capital, right? Or they don't have the capital to grow or to succeed, to continue. Those are the top two, reasons.
What's number 3?
Yeah. When you look at the deeper,
he didn't answer.
What's number 3? Yeah.
Oh, you want a number 3?
Yeah, you said those are the top 2. I was like, yeah, what's the third reason? Just in case nobody knows.
I would say the third reason is so
customer capital.
I would say the third main top reason. I would really say something around marketing, but then that goes into customers, right?
Yeah.
Like I would think something like management or direction.
That's what I was going to say. Something like systems.
Yeah, I would say founder issue. Like there's a lack of vision and skill set of the founder itself, right? Because there's a lot of things that can go into why you can't find a customer. It could be because you're on the wrong social media platform.
Yeah,
you got a food business and you're on LinkedIn. You need to be on Instagram so people can visually see what they're gonna eat.
I don't know.
Things like that, right?
That tickled me. I don't know why.
Things like that are a mismatch or misaligned, right?
Bro, that's real. Yeah. Like being on the wrong social platform. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do mean to cut you off. But I'm thinking about like I took my wife and my kids on a whole trip to Montreal, Canada, simply because I like the food that I saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is the entire reason we went to Montreal.
Yeah,
we found out there were some beautiful churches and lots of history there, but I was like, I want to eat.
Yeah,
I came to eat.
Yeah, but no, so that's real. Like, yeah, like being on the wrong platform in general, because
I think.
Sorry, go on.
I really like the niche. Like, that's one of the things. Being in business for over 15 years is one of the most important things, because if you don't know your niche, you don't know who you're talking to. And even if you don't, and even your niche kind of tells how you're going to get funding. You know what I mean? Right. And so if you don't understand who you're trying to sell to, then you don't understand what kind of funding you need to actually reach the market you're trying to reach.
And there's some systemic issues that have been developed in, through, and outside of slavery that has affected the economic state of, I would say, Black people, right? And I say specifically because everyone wants to be a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
But not every business is designed to make you a millionaire.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Not every business is designed to make you a millionaire. But because inherently, if you think about slavery and the servitude and the things that we were subjected to, so we were the shoe shinesmen, we took care of the kids. We we did a lot of the service in this industry type things. We served in the house, like we
clean.
We did grooming.
Yeah.
We did, we the barbershop, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those are the things that we knew. And so when the Emancipation Proclamation and all that, Juneteenth, whatever, we was free, we said, okay, we're gonna make a business out of what we know, right? And what we know are cooking food, doing hair, service industry type business. And the thing about services, a service type of business is an exchange of time. And there's only a limited amount of time that you have. And so I can work literally 80 hours a day and never become a millionaire because I'm exchanging my time for dollars, right?
Yeah.
Wealth is created in passive income, right? How do you create passive income? By building products that are allowed that work for you while you sleep. And that could be investing. That could be direct products and offering services. But when you think about each industrial revolution across history and time, the barrier to entry to these types of businesses has always been high for us, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like for what businesses? Like you said, the barriers to entry are always high. But like if I'm a barber and what I'm saying, I'm coming out with my own wave cream. You know what I'm saying? Like Madam CJ Walker.
But think about the innovation that happened over time. So think about it, say it's 1962, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The industries, who controls the pomade industry? You can't just go make your own pomade and get your own, okay, where am I going to get the jars from? Yeah. Where am I going to get the
bro? You think about our hair stores and like, I'm from LA. Like we get, hair straight from the boat, out there. But what you realize growing out there, one, there's such a huge Asian population out there. You really understand the game of why it is that Asians control the hair market. And there's a long story short, but there's a lot back to it. But what happens is, whenever we try to start our own markets, they are the suppliers.
Exactly.
And so if we come in and we try to do our own thing, they just flood our markets.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the barriers of entry. Nowadays, so for example, we had a woman in our program that she has a hair products company. So she makes not just like extensions and things like that. She makes combs, like just different type of materials that are built around the hair industry, not just hair itself, right? But she has a very interesting story because she studied abroad in China. So she leveraged her study abroad in college to create a direct relationship with China. So now she can go directly to the source in China and buy things wholesale, bring them back here.
That's good.
And that's stuff that we weren't doing in 1965 or 1970.
And we have to take
into China back then.
And we have to take into account everything that we built as a community has always been torn down. So even over time, we've had platforms and businesses that could have escalated us into the society where we needed to be, or where we should be, but you've had so many outsiders tearing down those businesses and those communities. So they never had the opportunity to generate that generational wealth. Well, and that's
how many major corporations would we have if Tulsa was never burned to the ground?
Not even Tulsa. Like people, like Black Wall Street is what everybody talks about, but they're like, bro, I think it was Manhattan Beach in LA was a Black community. They took it over. Even here, even in Denton, Texas. You think people don't know about Quakertown? Like they like people. The most famous of them all. People don't realize that Central Park in New York was actually a thriving Black community and the
Before
government
they turned
decided,
into-
yo, I want to build a park. Y'all go ahead and y'all move up.
Land. Yep.
Yep.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's i.e. redlining. They took the
Yeah.
most
Oh, man.
desirable land.
That's a whole different podcast, bro.
Desirable
But
land.
here's what I want to get to, because I know how we do. We can go down here. But here's what I want to do. I want to help people get to the bag. You know what I mean? So what are a couple steps that we need to do to get to the bag? First of all, I need to understand, what is the bag? Like people, you know what I'm saying? Like people just like, oh, like I'm gonna get some investors.
What bag we talking about?
Well, bro, I'm talking about a legal bag, but I'm talking about, you know, like getting funded. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like let's take the brand Support Black Colleges. Like, they got a dope brand. They need funding. They come to you. They're like, yo, I got a dope product. We got a trademark. That's another key. That's a nugget right there. Get your trademarks, because
protecting your IP. Yeah.
You don't get your trademark. The Russians come in and go ahead and steal your stuff, and then you be mad. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have an idea, you have a decent following, but you just can't, you know, like Shark Tank style. You can't scale. You don't have the capital. So now I come to Ben, and I'm like, yo, Ben, what do I do?
Yeah. So there's a key. Not every investor is going to be your investor, right? And so you first have to understand what type of capital aligns with what you're doing, right? If your business is the type of business that generates high yield return, right? That's a different message than someone who's like, what was the business you called? Support HBCU. The brand.
Support Black Colleges. It's a clothing brand. It's an apparel brand.
Exactly. Support Blacks. That's very mission driven. That's like a lifestyle brand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like FUBU, right? Like, it's a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
So what's high yield? Are we talking 30% or?
Say what?
Like, what you said, if it's something that's high yield, that's a different type of investor. So like, what is high yield to an angel investor or somebody like that?
Well, if you want, like, if you get into the technical, like, detailed part of it, is the industry, how risky it is. Lifestyle brands are very, very risky, right? And typically they most of the time they really only pop when it's a celebrity or it's somebody of stature, you know what I mean? That will buy into it, because it's not your standard of the, your typical standard, brands out there that are already out there. So you're really trying to get people to buy into a lifestyle, a mindset, a culture, right? And people of influence have the ability to influence people to do that, right? So off bat, I'm looking at a lifestyle brand like it's an extreme risk, because I'm like, who's the founder? How they gonna make this pop? Like, okay, I understand you believe XYZ, but like, how do you make other people believe that? Like, what's
safe? Like, what I don't want to say what's safe, but what is a more safer bet for, you know what I'm saying, a VC or something like that to invest in? Venture capital.
I would say the safest bet. No, we're talking about venture capital here, not like lending. We're talking about.
So I don't know the world. So I don't know. I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to have a conversation with you. I don't know enough to help somebody out. Like, I'm gonna just be real. Keep it a buck.
The VC, venture capital, is a very specific type of tool of capital that's used for high growth industries, typically technology,
cannabis,
SaaS. Cannabis now is growing, definitely, in that space, but more so SaaS types of business, software as a service. So think of like all of your apps and platforms and software, high tech, deep tech, machine learning, blockchain. Like, a lot of that stuff is kind of where VC typically plays in that space. And venture capital, for those that are, listening, is basically an equity investment. So that means that if I give you $100,000, it's going to equate to a certain percentage of ownership in your business, versus a loan, you got to pay that money back to me, versus an equity investment. The only way I get paid as an equity investment as a VC is if there's a liquidity event. So if you sell the company, you go IPO, you get acquired by a strategic partner or a larger company, then that's when I get paid the percentage of what I own plus my investment back, right? So that's how that type of capital works. What's typically more safe, like I said, is more SaaS software type of business, where there's more B2B, and that's business to business SaaS. to where there's a predictable revenue stream at the end, right?
Got you.
So a platform like, let's just say Instagram, for example. Instagram is a social media marketplace like Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
There's not a predictable revenue stream, but the value in it is that there's millions of people that use the platform, right? Millions of people that use the platform. That's marketing the value. Data. That's data. That's the value in it.
Yeah.
Versus let's just use StreamYard, for example, the platform that we're on. Mm-hmm. People pay a subscription of $25, $35 a month, right, to use StreamYard.
Yeah.
There's a predictable revenue. Maybe they have a more commercial or more enterprise plan for large businesses that do a little bit more things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a more predictable revenue. And the reason that VCs like SaaS is because the margins are a lot higher, right? So think about if us three decided one day we was going to create, StreamYard before it was StreamYard, what assets will we own other than the software? Like, we don't need a building really, because we can all communicate.
Yeah.
Here. So we don't need to right. We don't need to own the app. we don't need to buy brick and mortar. We don't have all the assets that we own.
I think about that. That's like Microsoft Office back in the day. Like you make it one time and then you just print it 1,000,005 times.
Exactly.
And go ahead and sell that point.
Are extremely high. 80% and above is what.
So how did that work out for your client that you were talking about that was doing hair, like hair products and things like that?
So she's still scaling. One of the challenges.
Did she get a loan or did she get an investment or what happened there?
Oh, she was a little bit earlier stage for us in terms of making an investment or getting a loan. But she did go through the program and get access to, mentors and really help refine, what she was doing. But it's more so getting her to think on an enterprise level because she has a direct connect to China. She has a competitive advantage that other players don't have from a cost standpoint.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times as Black business owners, we think, how can we sell to the neighborhood instead of how can we sell to the world? And in our economy now, we're in a global economy where
hold on, I'm still praising real quick. I'm still doing a little praise off real quick because
and I'm gonna tell
asking your friends and your cousins, your auntie and them to buy your products because they don't want it. They barely even like you, and you ain't even sent them a birthday card in 3 years.
Right.
Go ahead, Kev. Kev was about to say something.
But I was just gonna say, I mean, that's even the same thing in the nonprofit industry, right? It's like we want to serve this group, but this group can't even afford the service that you're giving them.
Right.
So you need to really take your product in, because it's the same product, it's just a different niche of people that you're gonna give it to. You get the money, then
we literally had this conversation last week.
Yeah.
But look, Ben, Kev over here talking about like it was his idea. Kev is the one that likes to serve and don't get paid.
But no, I had to learn. So this is what I love about these conversations, because a lot of this stuff we just hit on and it needs to go deeper. Like, what's your niche? What's your product? What's your service? Oftentimes what I found when I'm talking to a Black entrepreneur, nobody has done a deep research with them. So they just said, hey, I want to start a business. I want to make some shirts. Right. So they go print off a whole bunch of shirts, right?
And nobody buying them.
Yeah, they got all these shirts, but there's no mission. There's
ain't nobody trying to buy no 4X tall tees no more.
Right. So I think that that's why I get so excited and I can speak on this now, because I've been there. Like I've been through like trying to figure out, like it took me 6-10 years to say, I need to go rob Peter so I can pay Paul, you know what I mean? But my heart was just like, I need to.
I know what you meant, but
I know. I was like, wait, who he robbing?
All I needed to rob Peter.
Look, I got a 22 and a 45. Like, let's go.
But you know what I mean. But I think, and that's why I think that this podcast is so important, and I think that we need to revisit and really like sit down and really talk about when you're developing your business development, Ben. And that's what I hear in you, and a lot of the things that you're talking about and we don't think about business development because all we hear is start your business plan. So I go online, I type up business plan, I get a template, and I just plug in everything I need to plug in, and then damn, that's my business plan. But I never really thought about my product and what my product can actually do. A lot of speakers, a lot of pastors, a lot of like your voice is your product. And when I talk to kids and I'm going to a loud place, I tell them like, bro, this is how I get paid. But at the same time, I needed to understand that my gift or my product wasn't just made for this group. I can use it and amplify myself in other places and then take that capital that I got to do the other little things that I want to do for the community. But a lot of us don't get business development. A lot of us don't utilize SBA coaches. A lot of us don't, you know what I mean? So it's those type of things that I think is really important for Black businesses to really, we need to redevelop the community so that we can excel.
It starts so early in our community, in our community, in the Black community, Latinx community. Like we don't really talk about these things, bro. I was just at Ben came, it was like 2 years ago. Ben came. I had a speaking program at Louisville High School. Ben came to talk to my kids, and all it was like I had a different speaker every month, and I was bringing in real world people to talk about real world things. And so Ben came, he chopped it up with them. But I still do this where I teach an entrepreneurship class. And so what we do with this class, I think, Kev, I told you about this, is that we take them from concept to pitching to get funding, and they get real world funding. And so long story short, the team I mentored last year, they won. So they got funded $3,000 to start their business. So that what they wanted to do is they wanted to do print on demand lifestyle brand for shoes, because it's not really a big thing. And like, anyways, I coached them up. We did some designs, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, like they won, and they actually got to go to regionals. They didn't go to regionals, but if they would have won regionals, they went into nationals. They won nationals, then they went $50,000. But so I had a meeting today for the new crop of students that was in there. I don't know why I said crop, but that's cool. Whatever. Like we sat there and we talked to them. And so there's 4 mentors, and everybody gave their pitches first. And I went last because I was like, yo, I won last year. Like, I'm going last. And I remember talking to the kids, and I was like, yo, here's what I want y'all to understand. I was like, I don't give a damn. And I said, damn, and I apologize. I said, I don't give a damn if y'all get an A in this class. I don't. But what I want you guys to understand is that as high school students, you can start a business right now and make 6 figures, and it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But what I need you to understand is there is a process that you have to adhere to. And I'm gonna take you guys through that. And I told him, I was like, I'm never gonna tell you have a bad idea. That I don't believe there are any bad ideas, but I do believe that there are expectations that have to be met, like looked at with the idea. So like one of my groups last year, they were like, yo, I want to make some shoes. I want to go up against Nike. And I was like, let's talk about this. I said, first of all, tell me
the history of Nike before you say that.
I was like, this is a year-long class. I was like, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to do research. I said, I don't, nothing wrong with that. I get it, but that's not where we're going to go. Anyway, so they changed their model. And so we have some dope ideas today, man. We have some amazing ideas, but I go back to, that, hey, have this expectation of like there are no bad ideas, but there's a lot of groundwork that has to be done before you launch. And so going back to Ben and what you were talking about, I feel like that's what you're saying, man. Like the funding part is not the hard part. It's the legwork up front. And if you do the legwork up front, like Kev was talking about, make sure you got your niche, make sure you know who you're talking to, make sure your message is right and all this stuff. It's just like, and then it's like, okay, if you did all that work and it's scalable, now we can get funded. Is that, am I correct in that? I say all that to ask a question. Am I correct in that, Ben?
Yes.
You can say yes or no. I'm not offended. I'm not too proud, bro. I'm trying to understand.
No, right. None. You can't. Nobody can guarantee you funding, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you're putting yourself in the best position to get funding, right? And that's the key: is putting yourself in the best position to get funding, because you can do all the things and talk to the wrong investor, and you'd be like, "Man, I did all these things, and they told me no." Well, is it the investor that you talked to, or was it the things? Maybe you did the right things, but you talked to the wrong investor, right? And you spend time talking to the wrong investor and you think it's you. So now you go change a bunch of other stuff, go back to that investor, and they still saying no. When it was never the thing. It was just the wrong person you were talking to.
How often is that the case? Like in the people that you talk to, that not necessarily their idea is wrong, it's just you in the wrong room.
70% of the time, especially with Black founders.
Really,
what I realized in my career of working in different, having different professional experiences around capital, is that less than 2% of venture capital even goes to minority communities, right? Less than 1% of that goes to Black communities. When you look at the investor side, right, like these VCs, institutional capital, it's less than 2% of Black and brown people that work in venture capital, right? So if I'm a institutional firm investor and it's me and a bunch of my bros that went to Stanford, Harvard, and Yale, and all we know is
we're not looking for Jamal.
We're not looking for Jamal and Jamal. For example, do I have it?
I don't know.
Oh man. Oh, I don't have it. It's
he's looking around, but his office ain't that big.
Right. My closet, actually, no. No, there's a product. I want to grab it. It's actually in my bathroom. It's y'all probably seen it before. It's like the
sponge.
It's a sponge, but it's plastic and it has wires on it. So it's,
I need you to go get that.
It's like the 2.0 of the sponge.
Okay. I need you to go get that.
Yeah. But
go get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it. But in doing that, if I'm pitching to, Joey and Jake and Kyle, sorry, these
I'm with you. And Ben.
And Ben. Ben
and
might
Josh.
Be Asian though. Especially Ben Vann. People thought on paper I was Asian. Ben Vann, that sounds like an Asian person. But if you're pitching to this homogenous group that is used to seeing like green energy and like we invest in like life sciences and blah blah blah, and you come with this gadget, this is a microphone cover, but you're like, this is the next best thing for hair, and you don't understand that Black men need this because they want their hair curled. You're gonna pass on that investment, but guess what? That's like $1 billion market, Black hair, right? Bro. So that's also the problem. And that's why I say it happens more often than not, because Black entrepreneurs, they're trying to get in front of people that don't understand their market culturally.
But then that goes back to...
I got a pressing question.
Go ahead, Kev.
I got a pressing question.
Yeah.
Because it's just so hard. It's just like, because I know we've been seeing this years, decades. And my question is, how do we get our Black communities to develop venture capitalism for for us? And that to me, that's, and I know I told you at the beginning, I'm naive, right? I love people. I just want to see everybody survive. I want to see, but it bothers me because I know we know more than anything, like what we don't have to be successful. But then I know there are a handful of very successful Black people that I hope will become venture capitalists to help the culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's the biggest thing, Kev, is that we got to get the bag in order to become those. So I think about, what I'm saying, one of the big homies for me, Ian Dunlap, like stock extraordinaire, like crazy money. And Ian is 100% for the culture. And he is always like, he's like, if you have a business idea, he's like, please talk to me. Like, come talk to me. I want to help you out. I think one of the bigger problems is, yes, there's not as many of us that are open to investing like that because we probably don't know exactly what that looks like.
Yeah,
but
risky.
Then I think
we don't know what,
I think the other side of it.
Do I got to come to your door with a bat? And,
I think the other side of that is that we're not taught how to put together an investment package. Like we don't know what we need to put. Like, I'm gonna slide in your DM. Hey, bro, I got this brand. I want you to invest in it. Okay, well, how much do you need? you know what I'm saying? I just want you to invest. I want you to be a part of what we're doing for the culture.
Yeah.
Okay, how much?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
What I
maybe
like
100,000
what I like to say is I'm not doing charity, right? Like I'm investing, like I'm investing for a financial return, and I'm doing good at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I'm investing in people who typically don't get access to these types of resources, right? And so with that comes a level of accountability, right? And expectations that I'm going to need you to have, right? In order to be able to come correct in an industry. Because if I let you pass, then you're going to go to the next stranger who's not going to give you.
Hey, bro, I got somebody for you, bro.
and that's going to make both of us look bad. It's going to make me look bad because I referred you. And it's going to make you look bad because you didn't do your homework, right?
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing, and I see this a lot, is that we fail to want to do the little things that are necessary. Again, going back to putting us in a position, right? I have a friend who used to work for the city they were doing a partnership with the airport, and they were building a airport runway, right? And there was a 36% mandate for minority spend for that runway, right? And what that means is that the money that we're putting towards this to pave this concrete road for airplanes, we have to, at a minimum, we have to spend 36% with minority-owned companies, right?
Yeah.
Nobody black showed up to the meeting. So the money is out there. It's just it takes another level of requirement, because now that means I got to get bonded and insured, right?
Which is not hard. I know a guy.
Right. It costs money. It does cost money, but it's not hard, right? We also have to get update on our finances, because you got to be able to submit a proposal, right? So I need to know what you've done in the past. I need you to fill out a tax return. I need to actually file your tax. You know what I mean? These are all little things that if we just do those little things, 36%, and I'm talking about 36% of hundreds of millions.
I was like, it ain't cheap to do a runway. Why do we do this though? Like, why? And so I don't have the answer, but I'm partially venting, because when we do this to each other, and I feel like we're the only community that does this, but if you don't give me the homeboy hookup, you're not looking out for the culture. Right. But if you go to Chase and try to get a loan, like, you're not worried about the homeboy hookup. Like, if in any other environment, it is okay and understood that you need to have checks and balances. But when you come to me and you're trying to get a loan from me, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, why?
That is trauma. That is decades of trauma that has not been addressed in a way that allows us to have healthy interpersonal communications and relationships with each other as Black people. For forever, we've been put into we always talk about the crabs in the bucket, but we fail to ask the question of who put us there.
Yep.
Bro, I'm about to shut this whole podcast
down. But and to add to that, I mean, all of us seen 1%ers, bro.
Who owns the bucket? Whose bucket is it?
But we know, like, they go to class for this. Their kids hit a certain age, they're sending them to the class. They're sending
not
them
even
to
class. These are dinner. These are family dinner conversations.
Yeah,
look, we don't even have dinner together.
but I'm just saying, I think, like, we really literally have to change our culture. Like, we really have, and we have to stop thinking of things like that's being white, or that's being this, or that's.
And that's why I love,
like, there is a system. America has a system in place in order for you to obtain wealth. And either you're going to decide to fall into that system,
you got to play the game,
and play the game and take advantage of it. Like, and I think even in our culture, like, we are afraid of IRS. We're afraid of Uncle Sam. We're afraid of
pay Uncle Sam his money. I'm gonna just say that.
But again, we shouldn't be afraid of the system. We should be educated on the system, so we know to pay the system. We understand I think at some, because I know for me, when you get to a certain age, it's like, go see the CPA. At some point, you need to understand your own finances too.
Yeah.
I understand the CPA is there to help and guide you and do the things that you can't do, but you should understand your own finances before you just jump into letting everybody else do your finances for you.
And I think that's why it's important for stuff that like what you're doing with mentoring young kids, because programs like, and I know sometimes as a Black community, we turn our nose up at these programs. Oh, we trying to teach them how to be white, and we trying to, programs like Jack and Jill, these programs that teach kids networking skills at a young age, teach kids the importance and the value of relationships, the value of adding value to other people.
Yeah. That right there, bro.
Dinner etiquette, these are all like small nuances that of culture that we weren't taught as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But only a subset of people, get this. There's a book called Our Kind of People. And there's actually a new show, I think, on HBO.
Okay, write that down and text it to me because I'm gonna forget it.
Yeah, it's actually a really, really profound book. It talks about the history of it's basically breaking down what Black excellence is. And sometimes Black excellence, we try to paint it a picture as aspiring to be white, or aspiring to whiteness. It's like, no, because I'm educated, because I speak a certain way, or I understand certain concepts. That doesn't mean I'm trying to be white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At all. And so Our Kind of People is a book that talks about the history of some of the formation of it basically talks about what the upper class Black culture looks like on the inside. And it stems off from the creation of fraternities and sororities, the NAACP, Urban League, like all these groups that were started by affluent Black communities, right? And then there's a new show, I think, that's called Our Kind of People, that they pay homage to the book, but it's not based off the book. I wish it would have been based off the book, because that would have been really powerful to see. But stuff like that, I think, is powerful for our youth.
And I really do think that's again something that we have to do to change our culture. Like we talked about this a little bit. Like people talk about like we don't need socialism in America. Socialism is alive and well in America already. Like you have so many different classes of people. And I think sometimes it hurts Latino and African American communities, because even though we're talking about supporting us and serving us, even within the African American community, there's still different classes, and some people just don't want to rise up to that next level. Like I just, I'm from
also think people don't really understand what true socialism actually is or looks like.
I mean, Americans, we don't really understand what true capitalism is. We're not a true capitalistic society. So
no, we're not.
I mean, what is it really? Anyway, bro, that's a whole different. What I did want to say though is what I've realized is, praise God, the more money I make, the higher tax bracket that we move into. We ain't in the high tax brackets yet, but you know what I'm saying, we moving up.
We moving up.
But what I do realize is that we spend so much time trying to figure out what is quote unquote what's right and what's wrong, whether that be political system or anything like that. To me, when it comes to finances, it's not about what's right and what's wrong. It's like, okay, how's the game played?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for me and for what we do, it's like, okay, how do we play the game? Because if that's how we play the game and that's how you're gonna play, okay, cool. Let me learn the rules.
Yeah,
be a part of it.
And the hardest part is that the rules aren't talked about unless you're in the room. And so unless your dad was in the room and he's giving you the game, or unless your mentor is in the room and they're giving you the game,
or unless you got to be in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, unless you have somebody in the room that's giving you the game. And the hard part is, even when you have somebody in the room giving you the game, you still have to take that information and use it. Like people always say, knowledge is power. No, it's applied knowledge.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bro, man, I don't even know. Look, where we at on this time? Okay.
We've been on here for 2 hours.
Wow. It's been
not quite.
But I think
I do gotta run it a little.
Yeah, Ben, before you go, bro, like talk to me about numbers. How does a person figure out what it takes to run their business? And then how does a person figure out the income they need because I know it's hard. I know that's hard because each individual is different. Does it make sense?
I was about to say, and each business has different like
agreed
variables, and
but everybody want the bag. Everybody want the bag, but
bro, you got to define what a bag is first.
That's what I was
like.
I
want to make $100,000. $100,000 is not a lot of money. Like, let's just be real, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
But we say that, and we say that, but you got to remember. And I'm coming from a person that's an entrepreneur with no formal business education background.
Right.
It was like I want to serve. Okay, I need a contract. Right. Oh crap! I got to pay for this. I got to pay for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just kind of because I know there's somebody on here who had either started a business or wants to start a business, and they're afraid of numbers. They're afraid of to come up with a number to what is it going to cost to run their business and what is it going to cost to pay them to do their business. So just broadly,
just on a you can do this on the back of a napkin. What are all your costs? Like, how much is it going to cost to run your business, right? And I'm talking about the cost. Like, there's a thing called cost of goods sold. Basically, like, what are the costs to produce a unit of what you're trying to do? Like, that's not your operating cost. Like, your salary is not included in that. I'm talking about what does it cost to just run the business, right?
How much does it cost to make this microphone?
Exactly. Understand what that is, right? And it's really just a break-even analysis. Like, you're basically doing an equation to figure out, like, at what point are my expenses going to equal my income, my revenue, right? At what time point, right? Is that we're going to break even in 2 years, in 1 year, in 30 days? How long is that? But what I don't see a lot of entrepreneurs doing is, yes, they're forecasting their sales, right? Because that's easy. It's easy to just say, oh yeah, I think we're gonna do, we're gonna do 50,000 this year, and then next year we're gonna do 1 million, and then
it's good. Easy to forecast.
I would rather see an entrepreneur forecast their costs and their budget and know that like the back of their hand versus projections. Projections are always wrong because they're forward looking. Yeah. Costs are always right because they're today, they're present.
That's
right.
Good.
So if you know how much it costs to run your business, if you know it costs $10,000 a month to run your business, right? If you know that off top, that means that whatever you're selling, and this is just
no salary. This is just product.
This is no salary, but this is also agnostic of any type of business industry itself. I'm talking about from selling donuts to driving trucks, right?
Yeah.
No matter what industry you're in, if you're a nugget, if you know it costs $10,000, right? Then you need to be thinking about how many units do I need to sell to make $10,001, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to determine a lot of factors are going to determine in that. And one of the things you have to think about is what's the quickest, most efficient way to make $10,001, right? Here's a couple examples. I'm a hair care product company, right? And I have an Instagram page and I sell my hair care products to people online, right?
Yeah.
Well, it actually costs me money to generate money to sell to one client, right? So there's going to be margins on that one client. So if I need to make $10,001 a month, what's the fastest way to get there? To sell to 1 million people or 100 people, or to sell to 10 people, or to sell to one person, right? That's going to determine your price. Like, it's going to determine how many units that you sell. For example, if I could do a contract with you and your beauty supply store for, let's just say $2,000 or $5,000, right? I've just sold to one customer and I made $5,000 versus I'm online
trying to sell.
I got to sell to 100 people. I got to sell to 500 people to make $200,000.
Yeah.
That takes me more time and more energy, right? So I think there's a process that business owners have to think through is, am I offering the right product at the right price through the right channel, right?
Absolutely.
And that's something that we go through our program. We have this thing called the 4-model fit that aligns your product, it aligns your product, your market or your customer, your price, and your and the channel that you're selling through. And oftentimes entrepreneurs have this aha moment. They're like, man, I've been wasting all this energy on Instagram when I could have just been selling my product directly to beauty stores
And that's how you get funded.
And making more money, right? And that's what you go to an investor and say, look, we got 20 beauty supply stores that we sell our products to. The average, units they sell is 1,000 units, right? Yeah. And we got 20 of them. That's $20,000 a month. Now,
20,000 units. That's not $20,000. 20,000 units.
Because one thing that's not infinite in business is time, right?
Absolutely.
And so if it takes me the same amount of time to sell one unit, am I going to sell it? I want to sell it as highest value, right? Like we created bang for buck as the USA. Yeah. We created that term to get your, to get the biggest bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
So without going to business school, without having to study, a Harvard, case study or anything like that, get an MBA, is you can write this on the back of a napkin. How much are my costs per month, right? And what is it that I'm trying to sell, right? If I'm selling hair products, if I'm selling T-shirts, are you selling 100 T-shirts at a time, or are you selling one T-shirt at a time?
Yeah, bro, you just dropped so much knowledge, bro.
Kev, you far away.
I said you just dropped so much knowledge, bro, man. Like if y'all ain't out here grabbing these nuggets, because that's what happened to me, bro. I was like, wait, I'm spending my time in over 20 schools a month. Like over 20 month. Like, bro, like I'm hitting schools real hard because I love the kids, but the check wasn't fitting what I was doing. And I was like, hold on. Maybe if I can show the value of what I do, right? Because I know what I do, the value is higher than what they're paying me, but they said, oh, this fool gonna go do these 20 schools, we gonna pay him. And so it was at that moment, 8-9 years in, that I recognized that I had the system all wrong.
So how did you flip that?
I had to flip it and say, hey, the value of what I do is this. If you want me at your school, you got to pay this value, because I know the result that's gonna.
So you adjusted
what I do, the service that I give, I'm going to give you a turnaround, and it's going to be quicker than a whole year. It's going to be 3 to 6 weeks. So I need the value of my service and product. So this is just a nugget for all of, because see, I call it soft services. My speakers, my my mentors, those people who want soft skills to do those things. You have to think about the value it took for you to develop that product. The things that you're giving, like the talk that you give, it takes money, time, and effort to develop that. So when you go and deliver it, you need the highest value, so you won't have to go and re-deliver it again and re-deliver it again just to hit the value that you needed.
And I'll say this other point that's fundamental to starting a business is understanding what type of business you own. I like to categorize businesses in 3 types of categories, right? There are going to be generational businesses, right? These are businesses that you pass down, from, okay, I want my son to take over the trucking company or the laundromat or the the barbecue joint, blah, blah, blah. You got those businesses that are generational, right? And then you have lifestyle businesses, right? Okay. Say you used to work at a marketing firm, and you're like, you know what? I kind of want to do my own thing. So you start your own marketing agency. And at that point, you're not necessarily owning a business, you own a job. It's the same thing you were doing at the company, but now you're doing it for yourself. You own a job, right? And so that's a lifestyle business, right? So that means that now I'm exchanging my time to work with multiple clients. You could probably make more money, but the reason that people do that and the motivations behind each of these types of businesses is to afford you a more flexible lifestyle. I want to be able to work from Jamaica. I want to be able to work from wherever I am. So this is a lifestyle.
Still want a job, but got you.
But you don't want to go clock in and have to be somewhere,
right? But that also means don't have the expectation to be a millionaire in a lifestyle business. You know what I mean? You got people owning a job in a lifestyle business, and here's the difference between the first and the second one. The first one is when you own a business, if I step out, that business is still going to run.
Yeah.
In the other one, if I own a job, if I stop, the business stops.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What's the third one?
The third one is going to be your venture back style business. This is the high growth, basically you build to sell, right? I'm build a company and my goal and my intent is to sell this company at its highest value, right?
So if I wanted to build up a lifestyle brand, like, I don't know, like when you see like all the basketball shorts with like the different cities on them, things like that. There's not necessarily a face with that. I could step away from that. I'm building it up. I'm showing my receipts. Yo, who want to buy this? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. It could be a combination of things. Like it could be a combination. It could be a combination of both generational and lifestyle, right?
Gotcha.
Like, for example, you could be an entrepreneur. You could be working a full-time job and doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment you decide to leave, right, and you're like, I want to do this full-time, right? Now you own that job until you build it into a point where you got workers, you got staff. You can go on vacation and business doesn't stop, right? And so you can fluctuate across all three of those. You can grow it, the brand like FUBU. You can grow it to now you got $10 million in sales. Now you can talk to investors on the venture capital side. Now
I think the key word right there is scale. How do you take that job? Can you scale that job
into a
where
business?
you can step out and it functions and flows by itself? Or is the job just a job? Nobody else can do it but you. But you can't expect to grow, exponentially if you have to work that job every day. So it's like instead of working for somebody,
is if you raise your price.
Absolutely.
And the price is going to be dictated by the market, right?
Absolutely.
Prices
Joe said prices went up. So yesterday's price is not today's price.
But the market is always going to tell you if your price is too high or too low.
If they're not grabbing at it, if they're not biting.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen. Yeah.
This just hit me though. Research. It just hit me. You got to research what you're doing. You got to research your budget. You need to research your competition. Like if you just starting a business and you're not looking around at other people or what's happening in the market, like you already losing. You're already losing.
You're unaware founder, and that is the biggest way to get yourself put out of business, either by competitors or just by you yourself. I like to call it self-sabotage. Is you're just, imagine a car with no steering wheel.
Bro.
What does it matter if it's an automatic driving car though?
You're right. But hey,
you going straight.
I just said that on purpose. Like my thing is your price is your price, but if you have a higher price than what is quote unquote normal, you need to have a reason. You need to have a purple cow, like something people are going to remember. So like if there's no steering wheel, it drives itself. Oh, bet. Cool. Or like I have this t-shirt brand. Oh yeah, but it's made from Egyptian, sand.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever.
Right. Wait, bro.
It's like Kanye West.
Wait.
Kanye West charges $3,000 for a sweatshirt.
Hey, bro.
Like,
wait, Ben. He said Egyptian sand. When I find this shirt made out of Egyptian sand,
bro.
I'm
charging $1,700 a shirt.
Think about it. But it's price is perception. Kanye West can sell his clothing, at just crazy amounts of a price tag.
I'm shipping out bags of sand, bro.
His brand is so out of touch and exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
that exclusive. I can't say it.
Exclusivity.
It's prominent, like Supreme, like bro.
It drives demand.
Oh my god! Like I was like, dude, I am not.
But so does free stuff.
Yeah,
it drives demand.
Yeah,
but you got to understand when you ask for free, that's what you get.
Yo, we got to get out of here, man. Like I'm looking at the clock and we've been recording for 1 hour and 30 minutes. But the episode only gonna be about 1 hour long, but still, and I know Ben, you gotta go, man. I thought you said something.
Say what?
I thought you said you gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta run. I've been on for a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, words.
I'm on a timeline now.
Well, and I asked you beforehand. You're like, "No, I got time," and you're just like, "Oh, now we start talking." Anyways, yo,
in my head, I was like, "Yeah, I got about 1 hour."
Yeah, yo, get the people something to get out of here with, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love the reason I said I when you reached out to me was like, hey man, can you come on this? The nexus of what you are doing with this platform, is really embodies the phase of life that I'm in, and I know that you guys are in, and other dads, especially Black dads, are in, is being a dad on purpose. I think our generation is coming from, we're making up for a lot of deficits. And that's not negative or positive. It's just what it is. It's life. Our parents were doing the best they could with what they had, the tools that they had. And in our generation, we need a whole new set of tools as men and as Black men. Because the game and the dynamics of the world have changed drastically. Like, there's conversations that I can't even really go to my dad about in terms of advice, because just the concepts of the world have changed from women to like the way we address and treat women, like in today's days. Like I was watching, I always go off on a story. I was watching Mad Men.
I'm about to say, don't say Power.
No. I was watching Is it Mad Men?
Yeah.
I think they took it off of Netflix, but at one point it was on Netflix. It's about the Don Draper and the marketing industry and agency. But what was glaringly disturbing, and I didn't realize how much it disturbed me as an adult, was the way they treated women in the industry, in the workplace. Like just their idea of what a woman should be. And because of that, the dynamic between men and women has shifted tremendously. Men, we need a whole new set of tools and resources to thrive. Like we have to be more emotionally in touch with ourselves. We have to be able to openly communicate, not only just with ourselves and what we're feeling, but like with our spouses, with our kids. And that demands someone to be intentional. And so I love that you call this thing Dad on Purpose, because every action is not an accident. It's not an accident that I post about my son in certain ways. It's not an accident that I open a 529 account for my son. It's not an accident. These things are all done on purpose. And so I love the fact that this is what you guys are doing with this platform. So I know we didn't get to talk about being a dad and being in business and how do you manage all of that? Because I still struggle with it.
Well, that's a whole.
I have mentors who I ask, like, bro, how do you do all that you do and you still show up for your family? You know what I mean? It's just a lot that we carry, weight that we carry, and maybe we could do a part 2. I'll come on again.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say this happens every time. Like we so because you try to be respectful of people's time that you have on the show, but then you also try to be respectful of time of people that are listening. And you don't want to have a 2-hour podcast. Like, okay, like, yo, let's get to an hour, maybe an hour 15.
We almost there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so you just try to be respectful. No, I appreciate that. We definitely have a whole different set of rules and things and conversations. Kind of like you said, my dad is a gangster. Like my dad is an OG, like jumping on cars and knocking people out gangster. That is my dad. Like, he, you know what I'm saying? He don't know nothing. I'm trying, anyways. So yeah, it's
you get these hands.
Yeah, bro, like that, bro. And that's my dad. I've never been in a fight in my life, and so we talking 2 different languages. But it is what it is. We're all trying. I don't want to say make up, but we're trying to play catch up. It's taxing because, and I know I'm not the only one. And I'm just like, yo, why I gotta be the one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is hard. And I'm like, yo, I know my wife's not gonna. I told my wife, I was like, you're not gonna do what you need to do to get us to where we need to go. And I didn't say it in a disrespectful manner, but I just was like, yo, like I know you're not gonna do it, and nobody else in my family is gonna do it. I'm like, yo, it is on me to set the precedent. What makes me nervous though is that once I get us there, I need to make sure that I teach the systems to keep it, because I'm like, yo, if I get us there and then I'm gone, my wife is going to be too timid to make this. Anyways, that's a whole different podcast.
But those are those conversations that happen at the dinner table. We need to get going.
They happen. But anyway, Kev, let's get us out of here, man. What you got?
Man, listen, everyone needs to start a business. And and when I say that,
somebody got to buy from.
Well, but hear me out. You are already a business. You already have a social security number, so you're already tagged in the United States as a business. You just work for somebody else, and you still pay your taxes. So I think everybody should start some kind of business, but know the business that you're starting. I think that's the most important thing that I heard Ben say. Know the business. Like, bro, don't start a car wash business thinking you're gonna be a millionaire in like 6 months. Like, it's gonna be a grind. It's something you're gonna have to develop. You're gonna have to, know your niche. Do the research.
It's an automated car wash,
right?
Another story. By the way, I love to insure those.
But I think I really want to encourage those dads who are being entrepreneurs. Do your research, really dig in. Find somebody who's asking you the hard questions. That's not just excited about you starting a business. That's just not patting you on the back, but that's asking you some tough questions, and that's giving you value. That's adding value to your life. If you're saying you have a business and all they got is something negative to say, you're in the wrong room. Go find somebody who can help you and steer you in the right decision. Go to @BJ Vann and talk to Ben about what you need to do to get your business off the, in line, off the ground. And listen, you're filing your taxes, being legal, you got to. That's the system. That's the way that we function in America. So don't be afraid of those things. Just figure out the system, play the system at your own pace. Play and hear me. Oh, there we go.
Oh, he didn't change the name.
He didn't changed it in the middle.
So if y'all want to contact, the shout out, I was like, go ahead and follow our social media.
Well, now you done messed up because the whole podcast done been recorded with @BJ Vann, but that's cool.
But we got the plug at the end. We got. I'm
gonna put them both. I'm gonna put them both in the description, so we good on that one.
Yeah. So my social media actually is my whole name. I just changed it because for you to mentally say Benjamin.
Well, I've been saying. Well, then you put BJ, and I wasn't gonna call you BJ. I was calling you Ben. So you didn't have this whole time recording Instagram handle that don't go nowhere.
Don't go nowhere.
Bruh. Yeah, listen.
This is how we roll on Dads on Purpose podcast.
No, this is not how we roll.
Well, hey man, I'd rather you guys follow me here anyway, because I'm not the social media, I'm not one of those guys that let me share everything I know on social media. It's just not my preferred style. I love to have intimate conversations with people, direct conversation with people. But if you go to Impact Venture Co., you can get access to different resources that we provide in terms of our organization as a nonprofit in the Dallas area. So you can follow us there. If you want to follow me, you can, but you're just gonna see pictures of my son and
and we love that too. We love that too.
Hey, and if y'all don't want to follow Ben, y'all can just make sure that y'all go and follow these podcasts out there in podcast land.
Go get them.
Subscribe, maybe like, maybe comment, maybe share.
Go get them.
Because we still trying to run these numbers up. I have no idea what our numbers look like. I mean, we're in 4 figures in listens. I don't know where we're at on 4 figures, but man, bro, this is episode 46.
Yes,
let's go. 46.
I'm glad to be a part of this, man. I really appreciate the invite, man. This was fun. It's good just chopping it up, man. I'm glad there was no agenda per se. Just a little structure. You don't have to have a format, but just a little structure as we move.
Look, I got an idea of what I'm doing. I don't know if it's Joe Rogan, set up, but I got an idea of where we're going. But anyways, y'all
got to give me some swag. So if y'all can send me a link, man, give me a shirt or something like that. I know I hit you up in the past. I'm gonna try to check out the website to see where I can buy it at.
But, it's tlcbrand.com. tlcbrand.com.
Send me the link.
Link in the bio.
I'll support in that way.
Link in the bio. Anyways, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Take care until next week.
Peace out.